Chapter 1 The Lighthouse. It has all been very quick. On September 7th, I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. The night before, I tried to kill myself. It is bizarre to me that I can say that. My reaction after the attempt was a fountain of tears which lasted on and off until the next day when I was admitted. Looking back, I wasn't crying because I was in pain. I was crying because it had come to that. I had made the conscious choice to act on my suicidal ideations, which I'd been having for some time. I'm always smiling on the outside, but just below the surface, the abyss. There's a voice in my head that says, "You didn't try shit. If you really wanted to, you could be much more effective. This was merely a cry for help. For God's sakes, you fucking pussy, grow a pair and man up." My father never said these kinds of things to me. I like to think I follow in his footsteps in hopes that I will become the strong man I see him as. My family values were placed on strength of mind, body, and soul. I can hear my mother's voice when I think of these things. "Control your own space," my father used to say to me. Somewhere along the way, I got lost. I obsess about money, what I own, what I control around me, who likes me, what sort of greatness I'm supposed to achieve. Then I sit in my dimly lit apartment and curl up in a fetal position waiting for someone to call me for a job. After I become restless enough, I'd go to my roommate's living room and live like a slob in a pile of takeout while freeloading off his PlayStation and TV. I was perpetuating a lifestyle I shunned, looked down upon, and hated. I'd slowly come to hate myself. So I was talking to this guy the other day, and he told me this story. He was working with this dude on a job, and he told me that part of the deal was if they worked straight for more than I think it was 14 hours or so, then the job they're working required them to get a taxi cab home. Okay, this was in Manhattan. And the dude used this opportunity after a 14-hour day to take a cab all the way from Manhattan all the way out to the Montauk Lighthouse. Now, of course, this is obviously a violation for many reasons. You don't do that to your employer. Shit is just wrong. But there's something kind of funny about it. You know, someone who's got the nuts, more or less, to do that. Or they're just completely crazy. So that brings me to today, in that I have a day off, no obligations, nowhere to be. And I was thinking, well, if somebody was willing to take an Uber 100 miles up the entire coast of Long Island to go and see this lighthouse, it must be worth it. And we took a bunch of pictures. He got in trouble and had to pay a bunch of money back. But as not funny as the story is, I certainly found some humor in it. So I'm on my way out to the Montauk Lighthouse to see what this lighthouse is all about. Growing up, my family never spent much time around the house over the weekends. We would always go camping, so it's rather difficult for me sometimes to sit around my apartment for long extended periods of time, because I think something deep inside of me is I'm an explorer, I'm a traveler. I like to see things. I've been out exploring the these outer roads of Long Island lately. I'm singing with the Long Island Opera Company. I've been on the road for about an hour and a half. It's about a 2.5 hour journey. The production is in Rockville Center, Long Island, and I'm headed out to Montauk, so it's about 98 miles from there to there. About a 2.5 hour journey. The roads aren't highways like back in Texas. It's all very slow roads, you know, doing 55, 35, 40, depending. But as you can see, some of the country is very, very beautiful. Due to some unforeseen bumps in my road, I left my apartment and I am now living in a van. When I was a kid, we were on vacation. My family and I, you know, my parents, my 3 brothers, we were on vacation, driving across the country, and we'd camp. And I remember being at a campground. We had stopped for maybe food or a shower or something rather, and I remember seeing these hippies in this van. There's a bunch of them, and I remember asking my dad. I was like, "Dad, Mom, what's up with these people in this van?" And my mom said, "Well, they probably live in that van. They probably travel the country. You know, it's what they do." I remember thinking, man, that'd be something I would totally want to do. I would totally go and live in a van. That'd be fun. Of course, my dad was like, "Nah, man, you don't want to live in no van. You don't want to live in no van." And there's been times when I thought about doing it before. I was going to do it. You know, I had all set up. I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go live in a van. It's going to be fun. I'm finished with college." No. I was talked out of it. By friends and family, of course. It'll be difficult, blah, 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 blah. It's true. So far, I've been on the van life for a week and a half. There are difficulties. There's things I hadn't really thought of right off the bat. You know, I have a bed in the back. It's quasi-comfortable, not the most comfortable, so I think I have to remedy that. I think the overall plan at this point is I'm going to remove all of the whole chairs in the back that make up the couch bed in the back. I'm gonna get rid of it and put in some slats and put in a proper bed for myself. Sleeping it's only because it's uncomfortable. I find that the noise level in the background is not as much problematic as I thought it would be. I expected it to be really, really terrible. Something that I wasn't going to be able to overcome, but I don't find the noise at night as difficult. It's only the uncomfortableness of the bed. Like, that's a huge thing. I think in time I'll be able to overcome that without much issue. Food, not so much a thing. When I was living in the city, I ate out most meals, so it's not like it was something that I'm not used to eating out all the time. Some of the rehearsals I've been part of have been going a little bit late, so I find myself eating at restaurants at like 11:30 at night, which is not ideal for the stomach. It's not good for sleep. You know, hey man, watch yourself. Fucking take your car out, bitch. By the way, the name of this van is per my old roommate is the Titanic. Right? I know, cheesy, but funny. So me and the Titanic, we tie in the Titanic. That's good. I like that. We're cruising. So every time like I hang out near these really, really nice cars, really nice neighborhoods, my van's a little bit beat up on the outside, so it can be, I'm sure, intimidating to somebody with a nice car. I've totally cut people off and, you know, muscled my way around being an aggressive driver is nothing new to me. I find that I'm a motorcyclist, so controlling the road is step one to not getting yourself killed. Even though I have been in a couple motorcycle accidents that were not my fault, just two. One of them I had the vehicle break down while I was going down the highway. As you can see, got some gnarly scars, one of many. Motorcycle failed me at about 100 miles an hour, had a bearing or a spoke go loose, something like that. I got the death wobble. Very, very scary if you've ever been a motorcyclist. And I was thrown from the bike at about, between somewhere, I was trying to slow down, between somewhere 60, pumpkin patch. Pumpkin patch. Oh, check it out, man. Too cool. I want to go pick a pumpkin. I don't think that's going to be happening. Right, so I slid down the highway. I didn't break any bones. But I sustained a lot of road rash. So I have some keloids here. My shoulder's pretty tore up. For those of you who know me, I've seen my social media. I've posted some pictures of it. Pretty gnarly. One thing I didn't really talk about too much on that, or maybe I did, I don't remember. I'll talk about it again. I woke up one night in searing pain. I felt like I was on fire. It was probably one of the most painful things I've ever felt in my entire life. And I will I don't think I'll ever forget that. So one of the topics that I think I wanted to talk about, aside from having a van and living in a van, doing the van life thing, is trauma and the effect it has on us. Sometimes I see the motorcycle accident over and over and over again, or like I feel the pain over and over and over and over again. It's kind of scary because sometimes I wonder if it'll ever go away. But I've gone to some therapy sessions. Sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they're not. I find that therapists can be hit or miss. I've got one therapist, she started talking about herself in the middle of my therapy session. I'm not entirely sure how that works out, but I found myself frustrated, so I think she's got to go. But I think that's one thing about self-care and mental health, which I'll talk about in later episodes, I think. It's not easy to manage, and if you can't find somebody who you can really level with, it can be rather frustrating. But so anyway, it's caused a lot of pain and suffering for me, and I found myself in a very, very low, depressing spot in life, and some things took place, and I am now where I am now, which I'm not unhappy about. Don't get me wrong, there's some scary stuff about not having a stable place to live, but there's the thrill. I feel like the thrill is back in my life again for, where's the next thing coming from? Where am I going to eat today? Where am I going to go to the bathroom today? Where am I going to fill up on water? Is my vehicle going to run out of gas? Am I going to break down? Am I going to meet some unsavory character? Am I going to meet some very interesting people? I've had, because I've been going to different places every single day, I've met some really, really interesting people. Some of which I think I don't know the format of this, if I'm going to write about some things or just have this blog, more or less, I guess is what this is, or the tales of the Titanic. Tales of the Titanic. So that's the silver lining, is that I'm on the road. I'm getting to experience being on the road again, traveling, seeing things that I wouldn't have otherwise seen, meeting people I would not have otherwise met. There's something very cathartic for me from, I think, my childhood memories of being with my family on vacation, that it's ingrained. It's ingrained somewhere deep down that it'll be with me forever. Being on the open road as a motorcyclist, traveling, being in a van with my family, kicking and fighting with my brothers and laughing and playing games with my mom and dad. This was before iPhones, before iPad, where we had our faces stuck in a screen for hours at a time. That's not to say I didn't do that. I had a Game Boy, and certainly melted many an hour in Mario 2 and Kirby's Dream Land. Definitely was the thing. One of my favorite Nintendo games, if you've ever played it. Kirby! But yeah, I think this will be the beginning to a very interesting adventure and chapter of my life. And I'll have lots of things that I'll talk about here as these journeys unfold. But for now, yeah, let's do this lighthouse thing. All right, I made it to the lighthouse. It was awesome. Now it's time to backtrack down the road and go to some of those seafood restaurants I saw. Also, there was something about a giant duck. I met a guy this morning who told me to go and find a giant duck, so that's going to be also part of this journey, but we'll get there. Gotta be close. I saw one place I was like, get crabs and lobsters, and it just looked really, really good. Oh, that's the best pizza. No, that's not where we're going though. Man, this would be a cool place to like take a date for like a romantic evening, a romantic getaway. Get yourself a little beach house for a weekend. Show costume. Oh, clam bar. Uh-oh. Can I pass the clam bar? Oh, can I? Yeah, this is definitely where I'm going. Oh yeah, clam bar. Oh, fish and chips, chowder. Oh yeah, here we go. Perfect. Blasting through a half dozen oysters at the Montauk Clam Bar. Ah! Now I'm gonna blast through a bowl of clam chowder.
Oh, what is this?
This is a hot lobster roll with a side of melted butter on a potato bun. Delicious.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, holy clam bar. It's in between Amagansett and Montauk. It is definitely worth going to. Yeah, I feel so fat and happy. Let's take this on the road. There's one last mission. I was in Garden City earlier today at a place called the Garden City Cafe, which is definitely worth visiting. It's freaking amazing. But I met a guy there that told me, since I'm coming out in this direction, that I need to look up a giant duck. So we're gonna go find a giant duck. Something I want to say, this is very important about people who try to kill themselves. You know, people ask me, why don't you call me? You know you could call me. There's so many people you could call. You have a huge support system. And I just want to make sure it's crystal clear that there's nobody you can call. There is no number, there's no person, there's no hotline that you can call in that moment. Your mind is not right. You're not capable of making that call. And that's the hardest part. I think that's the hardest part for people when I explain what happened to understand. It's like, in hindsight, yeah, I wanted to call you. I wanted to call you and a million other people. I wanted to call all my friends, all my family, anybody that I've ever been close to. I want to call all of them and tell them I'm hurting. But in those moments, there's nobody you can call. You can't. Because in your mind, there's no point calling them. You've already chosen to sign that check. On the inside, it's just you and the pain and the suffering and the loneliness. It all feels pointless. You need to know that. Yes, I would have called you. I would have called all of you. I love every single person that I know. But the fact of the matter is, I couldn't make that call. For that, I am sorry. I'm sorry that I couldn't do that for you. But since at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about me, I'm working to improve. I really am. Working hard to improve myself. For those that have been with me for as long as you have, I appreciate it. Appreciate your support and love, generosity. At the end of the day, I really feel like I'm gonna be fine. But I need to stick to me. And I'm a nomad. I'm a traveler. I love to meet people and do things and experience the world from different perspectives. So living in a van, as much as it doesn't seem like something you want to hear about or you worry about me, it feels amazing. I love it. I'm cruising through the countrysides, watching the cars go by, meeting new people every day, listening to their stories. It's special. It really is. There it is. This is the giant duck. This is the giant duck. I think this is what I was coming to see. The giant duck. I came all the way here to see this. I came all the way here to see this giant duck. Here's the giant duck. It's a thing. It's closed. I don't even get to go in the giant duck. Adventure 101, you never know, really. Well, I've seen the duck. I saw the duck. I want to say that the point of adventures is certainly the journey, and it's been amazing driving across Long Island. Now I head on to my opera performance, and whatever adventure lies ahead. I love you all. Till next time.